Number 11 in the country, number 4 nationally RPI ranking, league champs 5 of the last 6 years, Valley Coach of the Year in Chris Lowry, and the defending Valley Tournament champions. What else do you need to know about Southern Illinois? Today, they play in the quarterfinals against the dangerous Drake Bulldogs.
As you take a look at downtown St. Louis, hosting the Missouri Valley Conference for 17 years now, it's the Scott Trade Center that is hosting the 2007 version as we bring you inside to quarterfinal Friday. Game 1 coming up as the Southern Illinois Salukis get set to take on the Drake Bulldogs. Hello everyone, Scott Warman with you. Glad to have you alongside. It is Arch Madness and you can feel the intensity. 100-year birthday for the Missouri Valley Conference, and by far, top to bottom, the best this season for the Missouri Valley Conference. Let's give you up to date on what's going to happen on quarterfinal Friday today. As we mentioned, the 11th ranked team of the nation, Southern Illinois. They'll take on Drake, the 9th seed who was a winner yesterday over Evansville. Later this afternoon, it will be Bradley taking on Northern Iowa in the 4-5 matchup. Then tonight, the first of 2, Creighton, the 2nd seed, will take on Indiana State, who knocked off Illinois State. And then Missouri State, the 3rd seed tonight, will take on 6th seed Wichita State. But first, let's go down to courtside. It's the Salukis and the Bulldogs, and the gentleman calling the action will be the coach, Charlie Spoonhour, and the voice of the Valley, Mitch Holtis.
Thanks, Scott. It's the nation's best non-BCS basketball conference. It's a bottomless league. No bad teams. The best evidence, Drake nearly beat Southern Illinois twice in the regular season.
Game at Drake goes to the last minute, ends up 5. Tie game, 10-point run. There's your win at Salukiville. Hardest thing is to win 3 times from the same team. That's what SIU's trying to do.
Drake has a shot, Spoon, because they have A.J. Calvin.
Well, he's athletic enough to play against Southern Illinois. Shoots over 50%, tops in the top 10 of the league in both scoring and rebounding.
Salukis have the Larry Bird Valley Player of the Year in Jamaal Tatum.
And Tatum, not only on the floor but off the floor, Player of the Year academically also. Started out all bench, now he's Player of the Year. That's the way we all hope our careers go. He's had a great year, needs to have a great tournament if Salukis are going to win.
He's got his wingman, Tony Young, plus inside Randal Falker, but the man in the big chair is Chris Lowry, the 2007 Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year. Welcome back to St. Louis at the Scott Trade Center. America's Renaissance Conference celebrates its 100th year. The nation's best non-BCS conference presents to you a quarterfinal game, Drake and Southern Illinois. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. A presentation of Bud Light. Refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. The Salukis have had a lot of consistency with this starting lineup. They just roll them out there and let them go, although the bench helps them as well. The Bulldogs have kind of shifted around, but this is a good lineup and very, very explosive. They had 15 three-point makes in their first-round game win. Overtime win over Evansville. Let's take a look at the coaches. Dr. Tom Davis, the Yoda of the Valley. It started in 1971. Let's put it this way. Of active Division I coaches, only Bob Knight, Lute Olson, Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Calhoun, and Jim Boeheim have more wins than the 598 registered by the Doctor of Hoop at Drake. And he's brought Drake pride back to the Bulldogs. And at the other end, the young guy, Chris Lowry, the youngest player in the youngest coach in the NCAA tournament the last 2 years, and the Valley Coach of the Year, the only person who has won this tournament as both a player and as a coach. Let's go to Charlie Spoonhour's National City keys to the game.
Well, if you're Drake, stay the course. You've won 4 out of your last 5 ball games. Shot the basketball so well last night. Just keep that going. Get some stops, because last night you're going 8 of 8 from 3, 14 out of 19, but you only lead by 8 points. You need to defend also. Salukis got to catch up. Right now, you've been watching. Now you've got to be a worker bee. You've got to go out and play. Got to defend and defend threes. You're going to have your big people go out on the floor and chase also.
Points from National City, the best banking rewards program around, where you're at rewards points for the things you do every day. Visit your local National City branch today for details. Check in now to Series History, brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. Visit Sirius.com. Drake lost the season series this year, but 2 very competitive close games. Southern is 2-1 against the Bulldogs in Valley tournament play. In fact, to take it a step further, Southern Illinois has beaten Drake 16 straight times, dating back to 1999. But don't tell Drake that. Dr. Tom Davis and his guys think they can beat the 11th ranked team in the country today.
Well, when I was 0 for 16, I always thought I was going to get a hit too. You see how tough it is, Mitch, to play and to even be the trainer for the Salukis. Look at that eye.
That's Ed Thompson, the longtime trainer. They got some wicked noon ball at Southern Illinois. Now, you met Travis Hamilton, one of the football coaches at Southern Illinois. He plays in that noon league. They keep stats, and if you survive, you can work in the afternoon.
Well, your boy is a moving screen waiting to happen. I'm telling you, Majerus would have loved him. Heavy Lunch would have put him out there ricocheting off people, and he'd have looked, everybody looked just like that.
Let's check in now with our man throughout the arena this afternoon, Tom Ackerman.
Mitch, this is the highest ranking Southern Illinois has ever had, number 11, and they're getting a lot of national attention. Everyone's telling them how good they are. Chris Lowry is challenging them. He's saying, is this all you want? Do you want to be 11 or do you want more? It's keeping this team driven. It'll be interesting to see how far they go.
Tom, it's an excellent point because, Spoon, we've talked about it. People say, well, what can Southern Illinois do? They're playing for national seeding here. They're talking about getting a 3 or a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Well, if they keep winning, everybody talks about what you do the last 10 games. What's it going to be like the last 15 games if you're the Salukis?
They got 11 straight wins this year. Drake will throw you all kinds of defenses. And he played like 7 or 8 different defenses last night against Evansville.
We're starting with a 1-3-1 on the initial, and then we'll see what happens here on the out-of-bounds play.
Evansville shot Drake out of the 1-3-1 last night early. Then Dr. Tom and his group adjusted. Shaw underrated, short on the 3. This is not your typical 9 seed against 1 seed. Just comprehend that and understand it. Get ready for the next 40 minutes of hoops.
As long as Keita's in the game, it makes life easier for Falker because he doesn't have to chase so much.
Young out of control, but it's blocked. Drake keeps it with 10 to shoot.
Good spacing on the floor for Drake so far. They're not trying to run sets. It's more of a motion look.
First winning year in 20 years for the Drake Bulldogs. Nick Grant, one of the heroes of the first round win. Lou Keita doesn't score much. No, it's going to be a walk. Well, you better get ready to rebound against Drake. They attack the offensive glass.
Well, they send 4 people part of the time. It looks like half the time. They got 5 in there. They all get after it, guards included, and that's where people get in trouble.
You mentioned A.J. Calvin at the outset. He is the best offensive rebounder, at least numerically, in the Valley. Falker against Keita. Randal Falker, some thought could be player of the year in the league, finishes underneath with a left hook.
You could have picked him and you wouldn't have got a whole lot of argument, Mitch.
And this is what Southern Illinois does best. They don't pick you up when you get off the bus. They pick you up when you walk out of your hotel room. And they never stop. They are just relentless in the way they defend.
That just makes you nervous. If you're the other team, you just get into a little deal. The ball gets knocked loose, and all of a sudden you're frustrated. You think, what in the world?
Southern Illinois 4th in the nation in scoring defense. Only Princeton, Air Force, and Michigan State ahead of the Salukis. Shaw wide open underneath. Drake goes to sleep in the 1-3-1.
Well, there's a seam there. It's a 1-3-1. You've got a guard playing the high post defensively, and there's a big seam right in there if you've got a player that can cut in.
The Bulldogs last night, 56% from behind the arc, hitting 15 of 27 threes. They like that lob play to Calvin, but it doesn't work this time.
Well, as they say, Ozzie Smith couldn't have caught that ball. Falker gave it a good effort, but this is an almost impossible angle. There's your angle straight through. When the wing goes out to match, if the center doesn't rotate over just a little, well, then you've got a seam right through them.
Good job by Mullins to see the floor. He's had 39 assists now in his last 11+ games. Corver in for Drake. Both of these teams will use their benches a lot. Grant, thin angle, good defense.
That's the thing that Drake does. They'll have Corver, who's playing a center now, out on the floor, and you'll have guards and wingmen posted up. Hard to play against.
Southern Illinois throws it away. Looked like Drake put a different defense out there that time.
Changing defense makes you have to think and adjust, particularly early in the morning. It's not very easy to do.
You play Drake, it's like playing a video game. I mean, it's just different stuff. There's a deep three by Corver. He hit him last night. Clayton Corver, 5 threes against Evansville. And he's got Drake on the board.
Well, if you think he's not going to shoot it, you're wrong. You have to go out and guard him to the point you make him a dribbler.
His brother Kyle, of course, one of the great players in Valley history, now with the Philadelphia 76ers. And there's the sneaky guy, Matt Shaw, his 38th three of the year.
And credit Tatum. Penetration into the zone, pitching out.
7-3, Southern Illinois in our first of 4 games. Today in St. Louis, we call it Arch Madness with the nation's best non-BCS basketball conference.
Ooh, close to a push-off there. That's what you have to do with Corver. You cannot think he's not going to shoot.
Now, Stewart doesn't shoot threes much. He hit 2, and this is what Grant does. Nick Grant will drive you crazy because you'll get a board and then he'll come in from the band section to get steals. Tatum drills one, his first points.
Big basket right there.
9-3, Southern Illinois shooting it well early.
A little surprised to see Stewart take the three. That's not his forte. This is right here, the penetration.
Spoon, he hadn't had a 3 all year until last night, and he hit 2 of them.
Well, everybody else got one. You and I might have got one if we just got a suit.
Steve Murfeld, the Evansville coach, probably still chewing on his oatmeal thinking about that one.
And a bank. That's what kills you. The guy banks a three.
6 to shoot. This is where they usually look for Calvin or this. And he gets fouled on the 3. Falker fouls him 30 feet from the basket. Southern Illinois off to a good start, but don't expect Drake to go away.
Southern Illinois with an early lead here at the Scott Trade Center, the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Time now for our Prairie Farms Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete. It's Southern Illinois' Matt Shaw, a junior forward from Centralia, Illinois. Shaw was a second-team MVC Scholar Athlete in 06 and is currently carrying a 3.16 GPA. Academics are important to the Missouri Valley Conference, so let's salute Matt Shaw, today's Prairie Farms Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete. Matt Shaw, Mitch Holtis is making his presence known early on.
5 early points. He can explode. He had 26 against Minnesota earlier this year. But we just saw the Valley Defensive Player of the Year, Randal Falker, foul a 3-point shooter about 30 feet from the hoop.
A couple of things you don't do is foul a shooter. Number 1, foul a 3-point shooter at 1+. But anytime a center sets a screen, then there has to be a rotation because you know Southern is going to double it.
Corver 73% at the foul line and misses 2 out of 3. Mentioned his brother Kyle, one of the great players in Valley history at Creighton. His younger brother Caleb has signed to play in the Valley with the Creighton Blue Jays.
Think he'll be able to shoot it?
Yeah, he beat Kyle in a horse contest when he was 12 years old. Young in the corner against the 1-3-1, and that's a 3. Tourney Young, his 48th triple of the year.
That's what happened last night, Mitch. Started the ball game. Evansville just shot Drake right out of the zone, out of the 1-3-1. Falker's chasing out front with Corver, at least on part of this. Now they got switched off.
Young and Shaw with the board.
Good defensive balance by Drake.
Shaw trailing. Corver with the board, tipped to him by A.J. Calvin. 12-4 Southern Illinois, the 1 seed against the 9 seed.
That's 4 turnovers already for Drake. Can't afford to turn the ball over. You need to get as many shots as you can against this defense.
Drake switches this 3-2 zone with the middle guy Spoon. Will guard all the way to the top, all the way to the box.
He's busy, I guess, as Mr. Ivey used to say.
That's Nick Grant, but he's very capable of doing it. #1 in the Valley in steals. They slide inside to Falker. Southern Illinois is doing a good job of finding the seams, aren't they?
Southern Illinois, early in the year, people felt that this would be their Achilles heel, if you would, that they'd have trouble with zones, didn't move it well. Tonight we've seen it. Today we've seen them find seams and find people. People are moving to the right spots. People are looking to the right spots.
Stay tuned for our intermission report. It's presented by Poor Richard's Restaurant and Sports Bar and Grill with 2 St. Louis locations, serving 2 tons of wings every week.
Not a really strong offensive team in right now for Southern Illinois. They've got Clemmons in and they've got Tyrone Green in. That's their defensive stoppers.
Tatum creates the shot. 4 for Tatum, and Southern Illinois shooting it well to start the game. 71%.
Nearly another steal.
14-4, Southern Illinois. Calvin can nail that shot. Had a toenail on the line. First points for A.J. Calvin.
I think we're going to look and see if that was a 2 or a 3. Mike Sanzier, that was pretty quick. Nobody even had to chide him. He just said, I'm not sure that was a 3.
We'll take a look at it. Calvin at 13 against Southern in Des Moines and 12 in Carbondale.
That's a pretty good defense right there. That's just a great shot.
Played at Butler County Community College in the highly renowned Jayhawk League in Kansas.
You see Green reacting to him. Green had 2 people to guard there. I'm not sure which one belonged to him.
We talk about Dr. Tom doing a lot of stuff, both on offense and defense, but if you look at his really good teams, whether it's Boston College, Stanford, or Iowa, he always had 1 or 2 really good athletes, like an A.J. Calvin that kind of stirred everything up.
He had good athletes, and everybody talks about the run some shuffle. He does different things. He's innovative offensively, but I always thought his defense was the thing that was the issue. Hard to play against.
It is a 3 for A.J. Calvin. He shoots. Decent. It's 1 of every 3 beyond the arc. 6'5" senior from Detroit. 12-7 Southern Illinois at the 12:27 mark.
This looks like either a match or a man right here, Nick.
Southern keeping the floor spread. Young showing some quickness. That's a bonus to if it goes in from Green, and the rebound to Calvin. Young will shoot deep 3s, and that one way too deep. I wonder if Dr. Tom didn't switch his defense based on the personnel Southern Illinois got on.
I'm sure that's true, and that's probably why we've got some different folks coming in. Tatum probably is going to get a little bit of a breather now here, Young.
Young attacks on Grant. There he is, #1 in the Valley in steals. Goes down hard. Timeout, Drake. Got one to burn anyway this half. Nick Grant was huge in that win last night over Evansville. They would not be in this game if he didn't make a steal late.
He made an absolutely great steal late and laid it in. I think that was the one that tied the game. There's the ball knocked loose. The thing you got to like about Tony Young, he doesn't give up on it. He's still playing. Look at this. That's pretty good right there. Just good effort by both players. Smart timeout right there also.
Closed captioning for this game brought to you by Emerson. To learn more, visit go-to-emerson.com. Emerson considers solved.
Mitch, about halfway through the first half last night, the score would have been like 25-24 or something like that. The 2 of them together have got 21 today.
Last night's game between Drake and Evansville was 51-47 at half. That could be the final score of this game.
Southern could win a couple of games with 101 points.
Stewart out of control. Mullins with the steal. He had 94 last year. He's dropped off in that number this year.
I think people are a little more cognizant of the fact he's going to get the ball from him.
Clemmons paints the rim with that one, and Clayton Korver gets the board for the Bulldogs.
Good rebound by Korver in traffic. Wow.
Drake cannot afford to do that. Unforced those into the net against these guys doesn't work.
No. They're going to have to check out some masks and chest protectors. They're going to throw them like that with this group we got on the side.
The 11th ranked team in the nation, up by 7 in quarterfinal Friday. We want to let you know the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament here at Scott Trade Center continues this weekend with games running through Sunday, March 4th. Stop in any St. Louis Taco Bell location and take $12 off any session ticket to the MVC tournament by picking up a coupon at St. Louis area Taco Bell restaurants while supplies last.
Southern Illinois attacks the basket right away. Mullins has a shot block off Drake. Now an ask you, Spoon. Drake plays overtime last night. You got to turn right around and play a noon game today. How do you approach this as a coach?
As a coach, you probably think to yourself, we're going to have to sub a little bit if people get a little tired, but you don't say it. Because if you say, fellas, are you tired? They're going to be tired. Main thing you got to do is say, hey, this is a great opportunity. Let's win.
Let's be honest, they played 45 minutes last night, Charlie, from 6 to 8 o'clock, and now here's noon, and they're out there again.
They finished at 8:19 last night. You got to figure they had to go into bed and go into sleep, Mitch. You can't do it. That's the worst thing. They probably didn't get very much rest at all.
3 in a corner from Bone, missing.
Guys off the bench, excuse me, Mitch, just haven't been able to hit a shot yet. And that makes a little difference when they all come in and try one.
And yet we've seen them this year when they do. An entry into Keita, well defended by Tony Boyle. Salukis in transition. Bone just missed from that spot.
Well, it's noon. It's not our usual practice time of 3 o'clock. It's not a game time at 7. It takes a little getting used to.
Let's go find Tom Ackerman.
Mitch, yesterday, Tom Davis, after the game, joked that he tried to get it switched to a night game, but he said he didn't think that was going to work. He had a scheduled breakfast with the team at 8 o'clock, but you're right. I mean, after getting the team to the hotel, having them settle down, after eating, it's a quick turnaround. He said, these are young guys, though. You know, they just think they're ready to go right now.
Well, when you've won 598 times as a coach, you've probably been in the situation a few times.
I think so. He's probably seen every situation.
Not exactly his first rodeo, but his team here hanging in there, 14-10, trailing the 11th ranked team in the country, Southern Illinois. How good was this league during the regular season? Let's check our Ameren standings, man.
And the thing, Mitch, that you've always brought up is not the people at the top, but the people at the bottom. Look at that, 6, 6, 6, and 5. As we've said before, that's not bottom. That's middle of the pack numbers right there.
And look at the overall wins. You got the bottom of the league averaging about 16, 15, 16 wins.
Well, the league was good. We're aware of that, so hopefully the people that are on the selection committee will be cognizant of that also.
But Ameren working hard to keep your power up, cost down. Ameren 365 and then some.
Falker's got Calvin. He's got a cold. Got a great chance to score a basket.
All of a sudden, Southern cannot buy a shot. They started at 71%. Spoon, they plummeted to 40%.
Well, they've had some shots blocked, and that takes away from you, and they've missed some open shots.
The number for Drake that's an ouchie is 8 turnovers.
You'd think Falker could get a basket if you could get him the ball down low.
Shaw makes Korver put the ball on the floor. Wave it off. And it's going to be a foul on A.J. Calvin, I think, on the 10th attempt.
A.J. Calvin has got some hops now. Here's a nice move by Korver. Just a little too much contact for the officials.
First foul on Calvin. Only the second team foul on Drake and only one team foul on Southern Illinois.
Excuse me, Salukis need to find a way to score a basket.
Been a while. Usually the one seed in the tournament starts slow and then kind of hits their stride about this point of the game. We've seen Southern Illinois do just the opposite.
They did it backwards, didn't they? They can get the memo. Look at that long one. Wow.
Well, his mom once scored 71 points in a high school game. So he comes by it honestly, and Drake's within 1 point. All of Drake's field goals are threes.
Well, do you think Corver's going to shoot? Here's the thing. If you're coaching right now, you're saying, what have we said? You've got to close quickly on him. You have got to make him dribble the basketball. Now, because he drove the ball last time and nearly got a layup, maybe a little bit more honor when you come out and give him a little space, and Corver's going to hit that thing.
Spoon, that last replay was like we put in a shooting instruction DVD. Did you see him turn, shoulders square, position of the hands on the ball?
Yeah, I did. You always look around and you wonder, where are those guys when you're out recruiting? You know, everybody's watching the guys flying through the air and dunking and barking like seals, but the guys that get you back in the game are the guys that can shoot it.
Well, head for Pella, Iowa, if you're looking for a shooter, probably at the Corver household. Southern trying to get its rhythm back. That one was kind of out of rhythm.
You're right. They backed off and let Tatum have the shot. He wasn't in rhythm, and he took a shot anyway.
2 for 10 are the Salukis from beyond the arc. Drake is 4 for 7 and can take the lead on this possession. Bucky Cox. Calvin saves the possession with 15 to shoot.
Salukis really need a run out to get a basket.
Young. Somebody a push. Al Stewart was pushing to get the rebound. The Drake Bulldogs, the 9th seed. They've been winning. 17 wins this year. Won 4 of the last 5 and trailing by 1. Southern Illinois leading Drake 14-13 in our first quarterfinal game. 7 minutes to go in the first 20. A reminder, our halftime intermission report presented by Poor Richard's Restaurant and Sports Bar and Grill, with 2 St. Louis locations serving 2 tons of wings every week. Behind every great shooter is a great shooting mom. I mentioned this is Lane Corver. Lane Corver played at Central College in Pella, Iowa. There is Clayton. Of course, the oldest son, Kyle, in the NBA. Caleb's going to go to Creighton. But again, she drilled somebody for 71 points as a high school basketball player. And I got a feeling she probably won a few of those horse games. Now, if your mom's getting 71, that's a problem for the opponent. Falker underneath, and Southern Illinois needs a bucket. It's been a while, Charlie.
That's right. 0 for 9 the last 9 possessions. Mitch, part of the problem was 5 of those shots had been from 3. And as you mentioned before, not always in rhythm.
Drake came into the tournament last in the league in 3-point baskets per game at 6. They already have made 17 triples in the tournament and 4 against the nation's 4th best defense.
Well, they used 4 months to set a trap.
Tricking.
What a play. What a play again. What a play. Looking over and back is what Tom Davis thinks. I believe he's got a legitimate question at least. Maybe not a point, but a question.
Let's send him back to his coach's box. 18-13, Southern Illinois.
A lot of guys would have given up on that ball, Mitch, but it waited. The ball waited on Mullins, and he went after it.
Calvin Iso decides not to attack, and Young is pushing Al Stewart. Let's take a look at the trademark of the Salukis.
Deflection, chase. Nope, that's not over and back. When he threw the ball, the play was good. It's amazing how right these doggone officials are. It's just amazing. And I spent a lifetime saying how bad they were doing.
Pretty good crew working this game.
Oh, I'd say you got Jim Burr and Tom Eads.
Mike Sanzier. Worked a lot of ball. Grant was going to the basket. A couple fouls here in Southern Illinois. They had only had 1 team foul until the last 2.
Well, both teams, Mitch, had gotten away from driving it at the goal. Both teams had settled for longs and for threes, and that's what happens to you.
Common foul, no shots. 18-13 Southern Illinois at the 5:10 mark. Calvin tried to do too much there, and Falker with great defense and board.
Oh, my. That's two of those bounce passes that I'm telling you are not easy.
What happened here? They're going to give it to Drake. No, now they switch it.
Jim Burr made an original call. Look at this hustle. Falker's going back, playing defensive back. It's tipped, jumps in the air. What presence of mind. And you got to like Jim Burr. He got it right. He just took him a while to do it.
There was a touch by Falker, touch by Grant, touch by Falker off Grant.
I think that's, you don't teach guys to make that play. You have to be a pretty bright, intuitive person to do that. I'm always amazed at the number of people that don't see that as a great play. Got to get a shot right here.
Tatum with 4 to shoot. They reach in. They're going to give it to Southern Illinois, but they've only got 2 seconds to shoot. Grant is everywhere.
He plays hard. Drake's whole team plays hard, Mitch. It's just a couple of their guys might not be quite as athletic, but those guards are, and A.J. Calvin certainly is athletic enough to play.
But Grant tricks you. He's got that mohawk haircut.
Look at that.
And Green.
Oh my! Green. There's your guard who's really a post player.
And tipped it in left-handed. He did not discover he was left-handed until junior college. Good thing he figured it out because he just got 2 points.
He might have been a really good high school player if he'd have just known he was left-handed.
All the folks in Monticello, Kentucky are saying, doggone, I wish you'd have figured that out earlier.
Well, the thing that happens when you put him in the ball game, we're talking about Green. When Green gets in the game, and he usually defends a bigger guy. And he gets away with it because he's strong.
Well, it's worth mentioning again, and we talked about it every time we got Southern Illinois, but everybody guards every game. Korver, people say you got to make him go to the basket. He just did. He's got 9 points.
Well, he only got 2 there instead of his usual 3. That's one way to look at it. That was a hard shot.
If he can get that element to his game.
I'd say. Illinois brings out the best in some people. It makes you do everything you can do.
Young flanks that one. Wide right. Shaw against Keene. He's a good shot blocker. Shaw gets it going again. He's got 7. He had 5 of those early, though.
Center throws it out. Dribble penetration. Center curls out. Pretty nice thought right there.
7-point lead for the Salukis. There's a walk. The 11th ranked team in the country, Southern Illinois, trying to get some distance against the Dr. Tom Davis and the Drake Bulldogs. Southern Illinois scored on 4 of its last 5 possessions to lead by 7. When Metro Sports takes its television cameras on the road, it considers these hotel properties its home away from home. Please call these hotels or visit the websites of these properties when following your favorite team. Spoon and I have done it all winter, and the way this winter has been, they have been, if the heater works, it's been a great place.
Nice people at our hotels, though.
How about the poor people in Des Moines and Omaha getting smoked by these blizzards?
And hopefully we get some of the people from Omaha down here. I guess it's difficult to get out of there.
4,000 people in Omaha stranded. Trying to get out of there. Most of them trying to get here. Ticket holders for today and tomorrow. 4,000 of them trying to get here.
Oh, my.
Korver fouled, and they have been able to slip inside underneath several times. this afternoon.
Great pass by Young on that occasion. Through the seam. Backside seam that time. Falker thought that might have been for him. He thought that's a bad pass.
Shaw's 81% at the line for the year, but you've always liked Shaw, and if they're going to make a run in the NCAA tournament, you got to think Shaw is going to have to be a big part of it.
First easy basket in a long time. The stops need to come on this end. 5 of the last 7 times down the floor the Salukis have scored.
Still 5 left in the half. Tatum in rhythm that time.
You got it. That's exactly the right word, Mitch. That had rhythm. The screens and the delivery by Mullins was great.
205 makes for Tatum in his Southern Illinois career. 4th in school history. Much better this year at 40%. He fell off to 29% last year. From 3. 10-point lead for Southern, biggest lead of the game. Stewart, that's what he does best.
That started with a slippage by Mullins, which he just lost his footing, and then the reaction was not as good as usual at the back end for the Salukis. You know, if you're on the Salukis, you're either on the all-defensive team, the first team, you're on some sort of a team. Just amazing. The only one that isn't is having a great day today. We're talking about Shaw.
The real team that counts is 25-5. Young.
If Young and Tatum both start making, things could get hot.
Drake down 8. Calvert limited to 3 points, hounded by the defensive player of the year in the league, Falker.
Look at the spacing. Huge spacing right now.
This might be off. Grant, nope, out of bounds to Drake. Today's game brought to you in part by Aeropostale. Visit them on the web at aeropostale.com for the latest trends in casual apparel for both boys and girls. Aeropostale, providing scholarship through sponsorship. 10 to shoot for the Bulldogs.
Double team right here.
Mullins gets fouled. Drake actually had a foul to give.
It's a good foul because look where Young is. Young's down the floor, and you know Mullins would have seen him. Salukis now, you've got an 8-point lead. The key is to make sure that you go in with at least an 8-point lead. You don't want to shoot the ball too quickly or turn it over.
Just 5 team fouls on Drake here, so Dr. Tom has some fouls to give here.
Hard thing, excuse me, Mitch. Hard sometimes to do it, even if you practice it, because you spend so much time saying, don't foul, don't foul. And you tell a guy foul, and they go, ooh, I don't know.
See if Drake fouls here at about midcourt.
Yeah.
Got some to give. Bucky Cox chasing Tatum. And a near steal and a foul, but again with 4 seconds to go, that foul doesn't hurt Drake. No free throws yet.
That foul probably saved the basket because Tatum was off to quite a little adventure there.
Bucky Cox does a lot of dirty work for this Drake team. Now Drake can't foul. Next foul put him in the 1-and-1. Tatum in a corner, gets topped and hits the shot anyway. A huge 3 for JT. Jamaal Tatum, the player of the year, with the 3 to put the Salukis up 11 points. The Egyptian Dawgs are barking in downtown St. Louis.
And you got to wonder how in the world he got open after just 1 pass on an out-of-bounds play with no movement.
Jamaal Tatum ends in a flourish. Let's go to Tom Ackerman.
Coach, big shot there at the end. You were able to pull away in the first half. Right. We executed much better in the last 5 minutes of the game. We took way too many threes. We got to be more consistent and get the ball in the rim.
You had 1 stretch. You had 9 possessions without a basket.
Well, that's part of the game. We just got to play and be a little bit more smart than that.
Thanks. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Our chats with the coaches all year brought to you by Mercy Health Plans. Mercy Health Plan's an innovative health management company empowering members to make healthy choices. The way we care makes all the difference. Last time we had Chris Lowry talking at halftime about getting the ball to Falker. They went to Falker like 7 straight times.
They wore the pads out on his hands. They threw it to him over and over and over and over. But you could tell what halftime had been going on.
But a little breathing room for the 1 seed. The 11th ranked team in the country leads by 11 at intermission.
Welcome back to the Poor Richards intermission report. Here it's halftime at the Scott Trade Center as the 11th ranked Salukis leading by 11 over Drake in our first of 4 of quarterfinal Friday. Let's take a look at the 2007 Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete men's basketball team. A presentation of Cardinal Glennon Medical Center, where our love for kids just keeps on growing. We see Bryan Mullins and Jamaal Tatum, 2 guys already at the locker room at the half with their victorious Southern Illinois team. Also later on tonight, Anthony Tolliver, a major in finance, and the Creighton Blue Jays, Trent Wirtz and his Indiana State Ball Club, a winner last night over Illinois State as they move on to take on Creighton. Kyle Anslinger, well, his Evansville Purple Aces falling short, along with Jason Holzinger against Drake. That is our Scholar Athletes first team here in the Missouri Valley Conference. We're at halftime at the Scott Trade Center. Southern Illinois leads Drake by 11. Today's MVC Centennial Moment, a presentation of O'Reilly Auto Parts with over 1,600 locations in 25 states, features the first State Farm MVC tournament at Scott Trade. Southern Illinois head coach Rich Herron's decision to place Horatio Tucker on Tulsa's Shea Seals was the key move as Salukis posted a 77-62 win, powered SIU to its 3rd straight tourney title. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com. Welcome back to our Poor Richards halftime report. As you see, Southern Illinois leading by 11 here at halftime in Game 1 of quarterfinal Friday. Scott Warman back with you. Quite a contrast for Drake in their first half last night compared to this afternoon against the Southern Illinois Salukis. Let's take a look at those stats in the first half, brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. They are the official soft drink of the Missouri Valley Conference. As you see, almost identical with the field goal percentage. 4 of 8 field goal percentage from three-point land for Drake. SIU had that spurt where they were cold midway through that first half. Identical on rebounds, but look at the turnovers. That tells you why SIU is the #1 defense in the Missouri Valley Conference, as 12 turnovers for Drake in the first half. That's one of the reasons they trail by 11. There's Jamaal Tatum, the MVC Player of the Year, as Southern Illinois looking to move on to semifinal Saturday. Second half is coming up next.
Back with you along with Coach Charlie Spoonhour. Last night, Drake wins 101-98 in overtime. A little bit different today, Spoon.
Well, last night at this time they were 10 of 13 from 3. I mean, it's not the same. And the thing about it, you've got guys played last night 39. 3 guys played 39 minutes. 1 played 40. Now you're going to have to ask them to press, do something to get this tempo changed.
Lactic acids. Let's take a look at the scoring leaders to the game, brought to you by GHP, a Coventry healthcare plan. Korver's been very good for Drake, 9, including 2 threes. But Tatum, the Player of the Year, 10 points. He has 2 threes, putting the shot at the buzzer at the end of the half. Drake has the first possession of the second 20. A reminder that can your health plan keep your employees healthy with GHP? The answer is yes. Talk to your broker or visit GHP.com.
Little motion here just to stir things up. I'm still waiting for that side post screen that was so effective last night. See if they can turn the corner like that. That was not the play.
Calvin scored on a similar play last night, but Al Stewart goes to the basket to get his 3rd and 4th points of the game. Drake trailed the Anteaters of Cal Irvine by 18, came back to win. Trailed Wisconsin-Milwaukee by 16, came back to win. Drake with 17 wins, best in 20 years. Iowa State champions, beat Iowa and Iowa State, and swept Northern Iowa, the first time ever 4-0 against the Division I teams in Iowa. But the Division I team in Southern Illinois keeps the drill in shots. Tony Young's got 6.
Oh, nearly a steal right there. That's a little bit of an answer, Mitch, after a nice possession by Drake, then a good possession by Southern Illinois, and they beat them by a point, 3-2. So
Southern Illinois has won 11 straight games. They've won this tournament 5 times, including last year. But Mullins has had a heck of a game. He's not scoring, but this is what Bryan Mullins did. He's done it the last year and a half.
Young gets some of the darndest fouls. There was nearly another great steal by Mullins. And almost another.
Tony Young with his second foul.
Well, how many times have we said this year that Mullins does not have the fastest feet, but they get him wherever he needs to be. His anticipation and everything, just amazing.
Young able to curl inside, fades away, and good defense by Southern Illinois.
That is a killer. Anytime somebody can score before your defense is set, it absolutely just kills.
Biggest lead of the game for the Salukis of Southern Illinois. 14-point lead. Just under 18 to go in the second 20.
Teams often come into this game when they've had to be off and watching and aren't very sharp. So far, Chris Lowry's bunch is sharp, like a knife.
We saw every team in this league go through a little bit of downturn. Of course, that was spurred on by their opponents. Calvin trying to create. Shaw does a good job on him, and Stewart gets the board.
Drake's guards do an excellent job of rebounding the basketball. But when guards go to the board, if no one rotates back, that's how runouts occur.
Dr. Tom Davis, winningest coach in Iowa history. As I say, Southern Illinois, their downturn didn't last very long this season. Young with the basket.
Good timeout right here, Mitch, because this thing's just about to get away.
Why is Southern Illinois 11th in the country and zeroing in on 26 wins? Plays like this. Tony Young wins this game. It will be his 104th career win as a Saluki. That would tie the great Darren Brooks in school history. And they're on their way, leading by 16 with 17-14 remaining in the game over 9th-seeded Drake. Check in our scores from last night. It's brought to you by Casey's General Store, convenience stores, and a whole lot more. Drake, a win over Evansville in overtime, 101-96, hitting a tournament record 15 triples. And then congratulations, Spoon, to Royce Waltman as A.J. Calvin finally gets loose on a set play out of the timeout to get a dunk. But Royce Waltman was down 12 in the second half against Illinois State and came back to win by 3.
Looked like they were in trouble. There was all sorts of reasons for them to say, well, we're on a losing streak. Let's fold the tent, go home, start spring break, and they didn't do it. And they came back, and the one thing they haven't been able to do is close out games, and they did it.
Drake gets a dunk out of a timeout, and now finally they get a stop. And Calvin's involved, but he takes steps.
That's the presence of Falker. Falker isn't having the greatest of days, not having a bad day. He's just playing. But there, he's just being there, part of it.
Falker, a mountain biker and already aficionado. You see the reaction of A.J. Calvin to call, but we've seen Falker not have big days, but he doesn't pout. He's like, fine, okay, I'll get 30 tomorrow like he did against Evansville in the season finale.
Well, look at Young. You talk about comfortable in your skin. He's got 3 points at halftime. He didn't get picked for the all-league teams. He didn't go crazy. He just plays. Defends and plays. His team wins.
This team really has a demeanor about it. Cohesion starts with their head coach. 16-point lead. Grant's going to get free throws.
Well, they say teams usually reflect the coach's personality. And if they do, I'm not sure. Chris Lowry always seems like such a nice guy. These guys are grumpy when they guard.
Yeah, I've seen his grumpy side. That's good, too. Shaw fouled. Chris Lowry, the Valley Coach of the Year, his team up big.
Southern Illinois up here in the second half of Game 1 of Quarterfinal Friday, the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Time now for This Date in History, brought to you by the Sheraton St. Louis City Center Hotel. March 2nd, 1998, Illinois State, powered by Roy Watkins and MVP Dan Miller, captured its second consecutive State Farm MVC tournament title with an 84-74 triumph against Missouri State. When traveling to St. Louis, visit Sheraton.com/St. Louis to make your reservations at the Sheraton City Center Hotel, the official hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference. And that's what SIU is trying to do this season once again, Mitch Holtness.
Yes, they are, Scott. Dan Muller, a stud when he played in this league for Illinois State. Now he's an assistant with his old coach, Kevin Stallings, at Vanderbilt. Nick Grant, 9 of 10 against the Salukis in Des Moines. Gets 2 badly needed points for the Bulldogs.
Free throws are a good idea, and those haven't been very plentiful for Drake. Matter of fact, that's only their 3rd made free throw today.
Falker gets free, slipped by Calvin. First second half points for Randal Falker. Let's go to Tom Ackerman.
Guys, yesterday at a press conference, Jamaal Tatum of the Salukis was asked about the tattoos on his arms and what they meant. And Tatum looked up and he said, you know what? I kind of want to talk about my academics because, you know, I did make second-team academic All-American. Tatum's very proud of that fact. And as you guys know, he's not only the Larry Bird Player of the Year for this season, but he's also been recognized as a top scholar athlete of the Valley with a 3.64 grade point average in speech communication. And I spoke with Doug Elgin, the commissioner, yesterday about Tatum. He called him a fine representative of the 4 years of success at SIU that school has had.
Tom, the MVP balloting was very, very close. Some say the closest ever. But, you know, when you look at Scholar Athlete of the Year, you got Anthony Tolliver at Creighton, the George Washington Carver of the league, who's got a 3.6 in finance and is an academic All-American type.
Yeah, I'd say winning that honors means that you're pretty darn good.
And pretty darn good is what Southern Illinois has been in this game, leading by 16 at the 15-10 mark to go.
And another turnover, and Southern is adding on. Instead of just maintaining the status quo the first 6 or 7 minutes, they've added 6 points to their lead.
And the number that pops out at you, 15 turnovers by Drake, something they did not do during the regular season when they took Southern Illinois to the wire twice. In fact, it was the Salukis that turned it over 16 times in Des Moines. And Southern Illinois has to call timeout to avoid a 5 count on the inbounds. Chris Lowry looks bewildered. With over 5,000 hotels to choose from, there's bound to be a choice hotel wherever you're headed. Book your stay by calling 1-877-240-2929 or visit choicesportstravel.com and get your best internet rate guarantee. We'll see you there. Northern Iowa and Bradley following in a 4-5 game. Chris Lowry had to fill in for Matt Painter, left for Purdue. We'll take a look at Dr. Tom. And what he simply has done is brought pride back to Des Moines and the Drake campus. We went up there, had their game this year against Creighton, and the atmosphere was big time at the Knapp Center. But Chris Lowry had to fill in for Matt Painter, went for Purdue, filled in for Bruce Weber. To have 3 coaches in that quick of a span and continue to win like they have, I mean, they're 7th in the nation in most wins in the last 6 years.
It's that kind of a day for Southern Illinois. There was a near steal, ball bounces off of somebody and it comes right back to another Saluki.
Falker gets Bucky Cox on his hip. Stewart had to foul to help him out.
That's something of a mismatch, although Stewart's a tough kid, but I don't think he needs to be trying to take Falker on one-on-one at the block.
Falker, All Valley. Last year he was the tournament MVP. People forget about that. He had a huge game in the finals against Bradley.
He's one of 2 players on the Saluki ball club that's earned the most improved player. That means somebody's doing some work during the offseason.
Looks like Snoop Dogg, plays like Big Dog. 7 points for Randal Falker. Leonard Houston just lowers his head and walks right into the trap.
Well, there's usually a group. There's a gaggle down by the basket if you dribble in there.
Behooves one not to lower the head. Mullins. Falker's over the back this time.
It's not a bad foul. Trying to go get a rebound. You don't see Chris Lowry complaining to anybody. He just doesn't like the silly fouls that guys get.
Like the first one Falker had when he fouled Korver on the 3.
On the 3, yeah, that was not the highlight of the day.
Once again, Drake goes down there and gets trapped and stripped. Tatum wanted to lob it to Falker all along, but Drake just wouldn't let him do it easily.
I think Chris Lowry thought that ought to have been dunked also. Guards always think big guys ought to dunk it when they throw it up there to him. Another steal.
Drake runs into another gaggle. This one underneath the bat is not underneath the basket. Southern Illinois arrow.
Mullins should have shot the ball in. Mitch, there are times you can be too unselfish. And that was one of them right there. You don't need 3-on-1 to begin with. When you get an advantage, all you really need is 2-on-1. You just make the play, put it in the goal.
Drake back to the 3-2 look. Depending on the position of Grant, I'm not sure what that was. Jamaal Tatum looks at Falker, and then you were talking about Chris being so nice.
That's not his Sunday school up there.
No, you lob it to the band, and you're going to catch some wrath.
I still think he thought Falker should have had that one.
Falker's got a 3rd foul here, hedging on Al Stewart.
Falker doesn't need that foul. I'm going to tell you why. He's in enough trouble. Now he's got to go sit down by his coach, who's not in the best of humor.
Walks right by him.
That was a good intersection right there. We didn't have any stop and pleasantries exchanged. That's sometimes a very smart coaching move. Just let the guy go.
Falker might ask for one of those shooting tops so he can go down there and hide toward the end of the bench. Drake down 17. Bucky Cox. And Boyle is fouling.
Not a pretty play from start to finish.
The only problem for Southern Illinois now is 16 fouls. We're still at the 13:27 mark.
And if you're Drake and you want to come back in this ball game, that is one of the ways. Steals, free throws.
I really thought Dr. Tom Davis would get a mohawk haircut like Grant and Cox had after the win last night.
I don't know where that came from. I don't recall when I lived in Iowa seeing a lot of mohawk haircuts.
42-27, Southern Illinois by 15. Mullins just dribble drill. Cone drill.
Well, Mullins had set him up. He'd passed it every other time today, so this time they're playing the pass, and he just lays it in a steal near the.
Finds Stewart. Cox will go back to the line. And Drake is in the bonus the rest of the way. That's 3 on Shaw, Spoon. So all of a sudden now, Southern doesn't have many problems, but the Salukis do have a foul issue.
That foul issue, and it's come as a result of dribble penetration, driving it to the basket.
Drake needs every one of these they can get. Shot 35 of them last night against Evansville. They shot 27 against the Salukis in Des Moines and made 24. Reason they were close.
There's a little bit of energy picked up for Drake, it seems as though. Oh my, that'd be good.
Wow. Cox 3 of 4 at the line. Still 16, the lead for Southern Illinois.
Man defense here, probably a pretty good idea.
Tatum shot that one off the side of the backboard. Cox, that's a three. Bucky Cox gets his 9th three of the year.
13 points. So the little cushion the Salukis build up serves them well right now.
Is Dr. Tom hungry enough to get back in this game?
I don't think there's any question. Not a very potent offensive lineup right now. You've really got one score, Mitch. Mullins is the second leading scorer right there. There's your score, and he just scored.
And Nick Grant lost it.
Baseline screen, Mitch, chase. Chase. If you try to go over the top, that'll happen to you every time if a guy floats and flattens to the corner.
Cox walks. Still 15, 11:42 remaining in the game, but Jamaal Tatum, the Larry Bird Player of the Year in the Valley, has contributed 12 points to this Southern Illinois effort. Dr. Tom trying to get his team back in it. Down 15. He has the one advantage of having both post players for Southern Illinois in foul trouble.
You've mentioned really one scorer on the floor. Mullins would be your second option.
And Boyle in the middle of the offense caught a 45-pound catfish. So I don't think he's probably near the top of your scores. Tatum. This goes to Drake. Al Stewart. Drake has never won this tournament. Al Stewart dribbled toward Dr. Tom Davis. I don't think he wanted him to go over there just yet.
Well, there was a high screen trying to use it, but you have to be under control.
All right, let's take a barometer of this league and how it looks compared to the BCS conferences. It's ahead of the Big 12, Spoon. That's the 7th rated league, but it's pretty good company for the Missouri Valley Conference America's Renaissance.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, that just speaks volumes right there, and it makes you think, or gives one hope that there'll be quite a few people invited to the big dance.
Now, here's where again, you talked about the bottom of the league, but look at Indiana State. That's your 10th place team at 134 on the RPI.
That's ridiculous that your 10th place team is that good. Southern Illinois' RPI is just that's really good.
At 5. But people want to know why the league is rated so highly. And of course, Southern Illinois to 5, that's obvious. What's not so obvious are those bottom teams being all above 140. As you can even look around the country, you'll see some teams. Let's take the Big 12. Colorado's at 235. Kind of drags down the top of the league a little bit.
Well, I've enjoyed a little bit of the commentary that said that people say, well, we need to ignore the RPI. All of a sudden, the RPI is not as big an issue since some of the leagues like the Valley are now stepping up.
Boyle. The fisherman gets fouled.
How big was the catfish?
45 pounds. Mississippi River. Tatum, he got freed on that same inbounds play.
That's how the half ended. And look at Dr. Tom Davis. There's going to be a new ducks flying over because he's not going to watch that again.
48-31, 17-point lead for Southern Illinois. And the Salukis continue to keep the heat on. Another hard shot by Corbin.
Well, in the defensive squad, the go team, the white team, or whatever they used to call them, adding points.
Clemmons also almost added some more. Grant. Calvin's going to get free throws. It's on the fisherman, Tony Boyle. So Southern Illinois here with 10:04 to go. They're two pivot, two inside guys setting down, and they've extended the lead.
This would be, what did Paul Dietzel call them, the Chinese Bandits? This would be the Chinese Bandits right here.
That old LSU football team back in the, whenever that was.
Billy Cannon played.
They have kept Calvin in check. Double figures against the Salukis both times during the regular season. The Grant fouls, trying to get some pressure applied by the Bulldog defense.
People might think it's a little silly to get a foul, but occasionally you need to get fouls added up so you can put somebody on the free throw line. You don't want to go in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Drake only has 3 team fouls this half.
If you're the Salukis, long possessions don't hurt you. Turnovers and fouls do.
Drives to the hoop. Don't. Falker follows. Didn't take him long to make a contribution.
Another day at the office for Falker. High screens have been the order of the day the last 3 or 4 times, and that gets the double team and that gets the 3. Slow rotation that time by the Salukis, very uncommon for them.
Calvin 14 last night against Evansville. 16th 3 this year for Calvin. He only had 1 all of last year. Back to 14. Young needs help. If you're Drake and going to get steals, you better finish it. Bones out of bounds. Drake's going to get it.
You have to say everybody's trying pretty hard, Nick, still. Look at that. Good effort.
Young struggles against this Southern Illinois team. Josh Young, the outstanding freshman, the leading freshman. This is Al Stewart, but Josh Young, the leading freshman scorer in the league, not been able to do much. Only 3 points. He only had 4 points in Des Moines, only took 4 shots. Grant can drive, and he can draw fouls, and he'll go to the line. Clemmons.
That's a good plan right here if you're Drake. Drive it, get to the free throw line, score with the clock off. You're just down 14. Got to hit your free throws. Cause a couple of turnovers.
Greg just keeps sawing wood. Grant's 2 of 2 at the line for the game. Can't afford to miss it. From Annandale, Virginia. There's a loose ball on the floor. Better bring your Braveheart tools. Bone blows a layup. And Stewart's going to get a technical foul. And that'll foul him out of the game, because that was his 4th personal on a foul called by Mike Sanzier. He will get his 5th foul and be disqualified on the technical.
When you say something about a referee, you need to be have a little more distance. He was very close right here. Here's the hustle play again on the rebound. There's the discussion.
Mike Sanzier in the mood for no sass, and Stewart fouls out.
Not how you want to leave your last, maybe your last game as a senior.
3rd in the league in assists, Al Stewart. 19 against Indiana State. But when you flip a program the way Al Stewart and these seniors have done, a team that has lost and lost and lost, and in the first winning season in 20 years, something you can hang on to the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Stewart played at a very good junior college, DMAC for Orv Salmon, who played at the University of Missouri for Norm Stewart. Would have fit in very well in this game today. He liked to foul when he played. Shot set shots.
Stewart gone, so Southern Illinois back to a 16-point lead. Drake was thinking about making it interesting again. But Southern's been able to answer all afternoon.
You can't miss your free throws, and then you can't get a technical.
Second time they've thrown the ball to the band. They want to get it to Falker. Chris Lowry finally sets down.
I don't see anyone that looks like they're a big scorer in that area right there.
Band's going to have band-aids on their heads. Young kicks it.
That kind of day for Drake.
They have loved the corner shot in this game. Houston with the rebound for Drake. Didn't take him long to get to the other end.
Good effort.
First two of the game for Houston. Allows Drake to set up the press. 5 count. Turnover.
Well, that's what you need.
Drake has been trying to do this. Dr. Tom's crew has been trying to chip into the league, but Southern Illinois always has a trump card. Mitch Holtz is back in St. Louis, Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Take a look at our game reset, a service of Emerson. 14-point lead to the 11th ranked team in the country, Southern Illinois. Plenty of timeouts for both teams. Drake has fouls to give. It's actually a detriment at this point. And Drake has the arrow. To learn more, visit go to emerson.com. Emerson, consider it solved. Drake with 20 turnovers, a season high. Southern Illinois will make you do that.
There's the high screen and the step back. Ooh, another foul.
Foul by Tatum, and it's going to put Young at the line, who's 76%.
Young's a good-looking player, man.
I like him. Big-time scorer. Played at a private school in Lawton, Oklahoma. In fact, he led the state of Oklahoma in scoring the last couple of years. But I saw him this year during the regular season. I liked him very much. He had 23 against Evansville last night, Charlie. It's his career high. Get to the goal, shoots threes. Athleticism and quickness for this great team. Back to 12. Southern Illinois cannot yet rest.
Southern Illinois had to use all 5 people in the back court to get the ball in. And that's always a concern if you're the offensive team.
Young. Saved by Shaw, but just 12 to shoot. Oh. 4 to shoot. Tatum's in trouble. They're not going to get a shot off. Drake forces a shot clock violation. And let me repeat, Southern Illinois and Chris Lowry cannot yet rest.
No, 3 right now, and you're out of double digits. That's the next goal if you're Drake.
Young out of control, but Calvin gets it, and there's your high screen again.
High screen, and then quick enough to get to the basket, and dribble penetration keeps the game moving.
And the press cranks it up. Nick Grant with the steal. Young. Young. Oh, 2 great chances for Drake to get it to single digits.
Man, this has got the Drake people been up. The Southern people figured out maybe we better get up and make a little noise too.
They're trying to find tomorrow's ticket, and they realize they better finish this one. And Falker is fouled, and that is his 4th foul. A.J. Calvin makes the play.
That's about the 3rd or 4th entry pass that's been from pretty far out on the floor, and Falker hasn't reacted to it. Just not enough on that to get it over the top.
And Calvin with good defensive positioning. And still 6:17 to go, and just a 10-point lead for Southern Illinois.
And this is far from over, obviously. You can tell how much excitement there is with Drake when you see where their huddle is. They used to meet over in the bench area, and now they're ready to play. They're almost at half court.
They'll be on the hill pretty soon. They keep getting buckets. Next game, the 4-5 game. You only get a breath or two, and then you got to get ready for this one. Northern Iowa and Bradley, and that should be festive.
There'll be some things going on in that game. Northern Iowa's more or less had their way, as I recall, with Bradley.
Made lots of shots the last time they played them. Chris Lowry's called a timeout, I think, here.
We've got a discussion over something. I really don't see what it could be. Everybody's got their own referee to talk to.
Southern Illinois, Chris Lowry's club has had 4 possessions in the last 4 turnovers in the last 4 possessions.
That's not like their team. That's not their usual way of doing business.
Dr. Tom, I'm sure, discussing, hey, I've got 598 wins. Like to get to 600 before the tournament ended.
And Jim Burr saying, well, I've probably only worked about 2,900 games. We'll do it my way.
Big possession here.
Interesting to see the freshman running the point now and doing it pretty well.
And Tatum is all over. Grant, great defense underneath by Young. And the Salukis clamp down.
That was important right there. The Salukis need some defense. Now they need to find a little bit of offense.
Well, they want to go inside out. Shaw has been good in this game. He hasn't scored in the second half, but he has contributed. He's been saddled by foul trouble.
Well, we jinxed him early when we mentioned he was a very good free throw shooter, so I don't guess we ought to say it this time.
First second half point for Shaw. He's got 10 in the game. At 10 against this Drake team in Carbondale.
Well, that stops the bleeding a little bit if you're Southern Illinois.
That's a big 180 turn, Spoon. Instead of being up 8 or 7, now you're up 12 with 5:34 to go.
Well, a lot's happened good off the dribble drive here, but you got to think a dribble with Culver screening might be in order to get him a look for a 3.
Young. Mullins continues to heat him up. Calvin, tough 3. Shaw. Very good defense.
Good defense. And Green goes and rebounds the basketball. Ooh. I don't think that was exactly the play that Chris Lowry wanted. You can't afford to put the ball in your back pocket yet, but the thing you do need to do is have a little bit of really good judgment. If the defense is set, you don't want to go down and try to make a 1-on-5.
Drake has a problem. 4 fouls on A.J. Calvin. Not sure they can come back and win this without it.
Well, it's hard without the point guard, for one thing. And it's hard also if you don't get Corver involved in some way. He started so well, Mitch. He had 9 points, and it's been just a little bit of a drought.
Saluki defense does kind of like the Mossad. Sometimes guys just disappear. You don't ever see them again. Corver. Has he shot it in the second half?
I don't think so.
No shot attempts. 5 minutes to go. No.
3 for 4 early on. That's it.
114 is Drake.
There's Corver. Corver sets a screen, steps back, and I'm sure that somebody's going to say, well, do you think he's going to shoot?
There's Mom. I'm sure Mom was thinking the second half. Getting some shots.
No, I'm probably thinking, why didn't he shoot the ball? There he is. After he set a screen, man gave a little step to help. And then you've got to react back to him because he gets it off so quickly. He's got a great release.
Again, their younger son, Caleb, going to Creighton. They have another son who's a big-time football player. I don't know if they let him eat with the rest of them or not, but he's getting Division I looks. The Corvers, and there's Dad. Now we got to give him some props too. He just can't talk about Mom. He played at Central College too. For the Dutchman.
I'm not bailing you out. You spent all day with Mom. I'm not bailing you out now.
I'm looking for help. 56-45, Southern Illinois. 4:36 to go.
Trouble again. Long possessions are sort of the order of the day right now.
Well, we saw Waddy Herzog come up this before the game. Southern Illinois could take some infield practice here.
What was his sign? What was the key?
Well, the indicator is rub the chin.
Rub the chin. Yeah. Well, the trainer's going to his chin.
His black eye. 5 to shoot. Mullins got a path cleared. No finish. New clock, but Green shoots it anyway.
Nice play right there. There's your smart play by Shaw. Brand new clock. They'll get it under 3.5 if the Salukis run it down.
Now Grant fouls, and it's a smart foul. Tyrone Green is 8 of 16 for the year. You think you got a tough job trying being the trainer for the Southern Illinois Salukis. Look what happens to you. 11-point lead for the Salukis. Drake 7 threes, 7 twos, 17 twos for Southern Illinois with 5 threes. They lead by 11. Let's announce our State Farm players of the game. For Drake, Spoon, it's A.J. Calvin.
A.J. Calvin's had a good game, not an all-time great game, but it's been hard. He's hit some big baskets, but he's got himself in foul trouble right now. It's hard to be aggressive when you have 4 fouls.
And for the Salukis, big day for Jamaal Tatum, the player of the year.
He's hit big baskets. The 110.5 was big. Bang, right there.
16 for Tatum. About right at his scoring average. He's 6th in the league in scoring at 15 per game. State Farm presents our players of the game like a good neighbor. State Farm is there, and also this is the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. A miss by Tyrone Green. Smart by Drake to foul Green. He's 8 of 17 for the year at the line.
You've got a couple of guys on the Saluki team you can foul, particularly Falker is back in the game.
And this is a foul against Southern Illinois. Not good for the Salukis to stop the clock at 3:29 and put the young lad from Pella, Iowa at the line.
Well, if Corver shoots the ball as well as we think he's going to, this is going to put it at 9.
Double bonus for Drake. Corver, 13.
The clock is ticking very slowly right now if you're Southern Illinois. And you've got to play against the press right here.
That allows the press to go to work with the made free throw by Corver. It's back to 9. Finally under single digits for the first time, Spoon, since 1:26 left in the first half.
Ooh. Close to another 5 count. They're filling the spaces, but it's really congested down close to the baseline.
Coaches around the league continue to tell us they get ready to play Dr. Tom Davis's team, and they don't sleep for nights before the game, thinking about his different tricky presses.
You just don't see it all the time, and then when you find somebody that makes a living doing it. Shaw,
this is 1-1. 5 in a row for Shaw at the line after missing his first.
Big to have someone step up and hit a free throw after Green just missed. Kind of breaks that idea that we can't shoot it.
He let back to 11. Horn sounds.
And everybody looks around like, I didn't blow that horn.
Inadvertent horn. 58-47, 3:20 to play in our first quarterfinal game. Korver just backs up. That's the range his brother shoots him from in the NBA.
I'm telling you, that's nearly backcourt.
Would have been in that Hickory gym we lucked out.
He would have been. He could have stood on the stage and made one on the other end. Good possession here.
Yep. Then you get Tatum to try to finish.
Shaw, another good play by Shaw. That's twice. Knocked the ball back out. New clock.
Eight to shoot. Southern Illinois running clock. Grant lurks. Tatum.
Oh,
that's good night, Gracie.
Is that a nice enough play by Young? Great recognition by Tatum to move on the baseline while the ball's being dribbled. He didn't just stand and watch. Unselfish play by Young.
Tatum and Young. The Batman and Robin duo for Southern Illinois. You start to look at their resume. 4 years. NCAA tournaments every year. They're going again. Conference championships. 3 out of the 4 years their eligibility. Won this tournament last year.
Well, if they're Batman and Robin, Shaw tipping the ball back is the butler. Who was always there to help him.
There's the butler.
Well, without him, you just don't get the ball.
Drake keeps it. 1:57 to shoot. Alfred the butler.
Alfred the butler.
Here's the Joker, Nick Grant. Slithers one in. Drake down 12 with 1:51 to go. This Drake team, you know, really an NIT-worthy team when you look at it. They lose today, they'll be 17-15. Sun Bowl tournament champions. It's just a crowded neighborhood.
Sun Bowl tournament, Iowa State champions. 3 losses to this team right here if they lose the game today. Pretty good credential right side.
Let's take a look at our Rawlings play of the game. Drake had just been chipping, and then this one closed the door.
Good play by 3 people knocking the ball back by Shaw. Extended possession down under 5 seconds on the clock. Penetration, movement, pass and finish. It's all there.
Rawlings, the official athletic equipment of the Missouri Valley Conference. Presenter yesterday of our Valley Coach of the Year, Chris Lowry. Dogs have no timeouts remaining. Still down 12 with 1:51 to go. Southern Illinois ranked 11th in the country. Continues to march on. Their consistency is what you admire, particularly the way they play defense consistently. But this year they're a better team offensively than they were a year ago.
You can tell they've spent time at it. That's the whole thing. It's paid off for them. They're a better offensive basketball team.
Hang on, they'll play the winner of this game coming up next. Northern Iowa and Bradley.
You got to like the way when they substitute, people know roles too. I mean, I see so many teams that are still searching for who does what and what's my identity. Salukis have that figured out.
Mullins. No.
Mullins has missed 2 or 3 of those today, and that's unlike him.
Trying to find the three-point shooter. Instead, the Riddler goes to the cup. Free throws for Drake.
Corver was standing over there by his coach, waving his arms. I think he had a chance maybe to get another look.
Bucky Cox is going to get free throws here for the Bulldogs. Foul was on Bryan Mullins. Speaking of roles, a guy like Bucky Cox has done his role very well because he doesn't always get to do the fun stuff.
He's made good plays today. Shot the ball well, driven it at the basket, and got himself to the free throw line.
Last night he had to guard Matt Webster late in the game of Evansville, and that's no fun. 10-point lead, Southern Illinois. Young. Leonard Houston is the perpetrator for the Drake Bulldogs.
Well, putting Young at the free throw line doesn't help much. He's over 80% when he goes.
Young this year averaging 10 points. But he's the kind of guy that can win a tournament for you or an NCAA tournament game. He has that kind of capability. We had him against Bradley, 25 in a single game.
We've seen him on a couple occasions, Mitch, where he's had a slow first half like tonight. He'll have 2 or 3 points. Doesn't seem to affect him. He'll come out, get 10 or 12 or 14 in the second half. And guard all the time.
Josh Young. Little bump and run all the way down the floor. And the freshman from Lawton, Oklahoma will get free throws as Tatum was fouled.
When guys just drive it at the basket hard, it's difficult to control them, really.
Particularly this guy. He's fast to the goal. 6 points for Young. Well off his 23 last night. He did have 13 in Carbondale. I said only 4 in Des Moines against Southern Illinois and on 4 shots. But came back with 13 in Little Egypt. Back to 10 at 79 seconds. There's a pop. Tatum takes a shot from Houston.
Tatum did the right thing. He met the basketball. You've got to go meet the thing against this press because this is a very aggressive press right now.
You look at the numbers of Southern Illinois and what Jamaal Tatum, Young has done. In the last 6 years, only Duke, Florida, Illinois, Pitt, Gonzaga, and UConn have more wins than Southern Illinois. Well, the dog pound, the students also have no, they are relentless.
Well, it's fun when your team's playing well and they're good.
Drake has had a very D1 kind of year.
Yes, they have.
The Riddler. The Penguin this time scores. He's got 8. Back to 8, as close as they've been in a while. Timeout, Tony Young. 1:05 to go, an 8-point lead for Southern Illinois.
It's going to be a long minute.
I see no surrender flags on the Drake bench.
No calf ropes. Come out. Here's the drive. Nice help. Block. It's all right. I'll just get it and shoot it again. Maybe I'll get a rebound.
Bulldogs actually about scored Southern Illinois here in the second half. That little flurry at the end of the half, if Southern Illinois wins this, might be the death blow in this game.
Flurry at the end of the half in the first 4 minutes of the second half. That was the Salukis' big run, and since then it's been Drake's fun. All 5 men down the court.
They immediately foul Shaw. He says, well, I've hit 6 in a row, so I'll take the walk.
He got kicked a little bit on that one.
Be careful if you kick Matt Shaw, he might kick back.
Yeah, he certainly might. Well, Shaw needs to stem the bleeding right here. He'll get 2 chances with the bonus on.
Trade continues for Shaw. He'll step up in big games. Here comes A.J. Calvin back with his 4 fouls. Southern Illinois' best win over Virginia Tech, and a Virginia Tech team that went on to knock off some big teams.
Virginia Tech's had just an outstanding year. Greenberg's got a bunch of athletes.
I'm running out of Batman villains. Nick Grant has filled in every capable role there. Mullins might want to chase him, get to him. They do. Mullins is 75%, but he's yet to go to the line in the game.
This is the long part of the game right here. One team has to shoot 2 free throws, and the other team's going to get it and drive it at the basket and either make it or get fouled. Ooh.
Mullins from a basketball family as well. Suburban Chicago. 8-point game that's now 9. Young trying to create a shot. Calvin loses it on the dribble.
Finally made him go to his left hand, talking about Young. Young's been going to his right. That time they forced him to use his left, and when he came back right, he got stripped. 2 here, Mitch, would probably just about seal the deal.
Great story. Bruce Weber's the coach at Southern Illinois. They're in the NCAA tournament in Chicago. He invites a bunch of potential Salukis to come watch him practice. Only one showed up. Young. He got a scholarship.
Wonder where those other guys are.
Probably Illinois.
Yeah, probably playing it. Another steal. Another foul.
11-point lead for Southern Illinois. And now the Salukis can finally take a deep breath.
And there are many Salukis here, Mitch. I just noticed this thing is has added some folks as the game's gone along. We've got quite a few people at this ball game.
Free throw for Young. He's got 17 in the game.
Going right again.
Young with 9. Near steal. Drake still won't quit. 10-point lead. What a great year it has been for Drake. And just to see some excitement come back to downtown Des Moines with this Drake program has been worth it this year.
Well, Young, Corver, Cox, Houston, back.
The miss A.J. Calvin, you need to find him again. But when Dr. Tom Davis, last night after that game, I said, you know what you did? You brought pride back to a place. And he said, that's kind of what I had in mind when I came out of retirement. He said they'd been down for so long. He said, and he knows the culture of a private school and how to win at one. He was at Stanford, won there. He said, I knew we could win. And he has a great deal of satisfaction in what he has done this year with the Drake Bulldogs.
Well, and when he eventually, my heavens, that goes in.
It came from heaven.
Well, that was a long way off.
You're going to finish, though, about Tom?
Yeah, when he decides he's going to quit, his son, it looks like, will be the next coach. Things will be business as usual, I think.
If that's the case, Keno will have a lot better shot. Chris Lowry, though, advances to tomorrow. The 11th ranked team in the country in the Valley Coach of the Year. Survives Yoda and Dr. Tom's scrappy Bulldogs. Southern Illinois advances to the semifinals. 26 wins, 5 losses. 4 times in school history now, Southern Illinois has registered a 26th win. For Charlie Spoonhour, I'm Mitch Holtis. The day has just started. Don't go anywhere. More to come from St. Louis.